Hey, everybody, on this episode of the Timeless After Show, we're breaking down Season 1, Episode 5, The Alamo. Everybody will remember The Alamo, but will anybody remember that I did not wear a cowboy hat tonight? Let's do it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yes.
Oh,
sing it if you know
listen
the
to that
words.
guitar.
Sing it if you know the words.
There you go. Look at that. That's Marty Robbins, guys.
Who?
The Ballad of the Alamo. Come on, Chris.
Come on,
Then
you
don't
know.
him.
You know.
Marty.
Yes, Marty Robbins. And to know him is to love him. And to not to know him is to love him even more. Welcome, everybody, to the Timeless After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. We're breaking down every episode this season of Timeless right here on AfterBuzz TV. And this episode in particular is going to be Episode 5, The Alamo, as Marty Robbins so delightfully sings. I don't know if you want to sing the Ballad of the Alamo, delightful. Probably not things in the two words you want in the same sentence. Delightful
Yeah,
and
not
Alamo.
at all.
Maybe not. We'll figure out the appropriate words for the Alamo through the course of this episode.
He was the
How many
one
hosts?
person that made it out.
That's right.
Marty
yes.
Robbins.
There you go.
To sing
There
about
you
it.
go.
That makes
Sorry.
sense.
Yes.
I'm one of your hosts, Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie.
Oh, I didn't know I was next. I thought you were going over to the far left over there. Hi, I'm Alexis Torres. You can find me all over social media at atorres890. That's ATORRES 890.
Awesome. Howdy. Happy Halloween. So we got Western themed a little
Yeah,
bit.
we
Most
did.
of us.
So I took my hat off. It's for you, Frank.
It's okay. Well, we're going to use the hat for
I
something.
know.
My name's Kari Lane. You can find me online on Twitter and Instagram at Kari D. Lane and Facebook at Kari Lane Actor.
Beautiful. I'm Chris Howard. This is kind of cowboy, the pimp cowboy.
Pimp
Yes.
cowboy.
Big furry
Fancy.
Modern cowboy.
I like it.
Chris Howard. You can reach me at Chris Howard Live on Twitter and Instagram. And I don't think I'm going to last the whole show with this coat on.
We'll see.
I know. We'll see how long I go, too. I got a
Yeah.
vest, long sleeve.
Certainly, one thing
Yeah.
we know for certain is that cowboy hats and headphones go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Not quite.
No,
No?
not even
Mine
close.
is
No.
barely
Nope.
staying on there.
Mine I had to take off.
Yeah.
I got my own style.
And we're in the chat, guys, so if you want to chat,
Yeah,
I see
we
you all
are.
are chatting up
That's
a
right.
lot, which is
Yes.
Jeez.
So like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
As Kari was saying, hop in the chat, hear about your episode, comments about this episode in particular, or just the series in general.
Yep.
And in fact, later on this episode, I believe we're going to be revealing the winners for those exciting bags.
We're going to draw the winner. We're going to
My
choose
goodness,
it.
it's going to be a live revelation. My
Woo,
goodness.
it's exciting.
And I am quite the artist.
Yep.
We're going to draw the winner.
Oh, get
yes.
out.
I know. It was.
Boo. Boo.
You
It's
said
the
you
coat.
love puns.
It's
Yeah,
the
it's the coat.
That
I
is
didn't
not
even
what I
think of
said.
that one. I'm
That
like,
is not what I said.
what?
Opposite.
Oh.
Opposite.
No, are you referring to me?
Okay, good. Because I was like,
No, I
No,
like
we-
puns, but I was like, wait, no,
But-
okay.
but-
Yeah.
Everybody check
But you have
out
to get the
Anyway.
pun to like
Alexis's
it.
blog.
I want to go back in time and pretend I did not relive that.
Well,
I feel so rejected.
I think for some people in this episode, this is not something they'd want to relive either. This
Yes.
is
No.
this is all episode is all about the Alamo, and we start off with as kind of I think as history kind of portrayed itself there with William Baird Travis standing on top of there, kind of delivering, reading the letter that he would be sending out to kind of help inspire everybody. Just kind of reading what he had written at that point. So it kind of leads us up to like, oh man, this is going to be the Alamo. This is going to be crazy. What's going to happen here? But then we find out though that our boy Wyatt, he's not cutting the job. He's getting replaced.
Yep.
Yeah, for all our lamenting, like he has one job, and that's just to kill Flynn.
I know, poor guy.
And
Finally,
Lucy,
everybody else
and Lucy
realized.
seems to want to do everything to avoid killing Flynn.
Yeah.
So there's
He
a
should. He
conflict.
never once goes, she's not letting me do my job.
Yep. Like,
Never.
not even a little bit. He's
No.
just like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. I guess we should replace.
He
me 'cause
later
I'm not
complains
doing
about
it.
the clothes
Well-
and the environment, but he's never like, you prevented me from
Doing
shooting
it.
him
Just
a few times.
You
woman."
had one job, Wyatt.
Yeah.
Although I now, do you think that Lucy would prevent Wyatt from killing Flynn if they came across each other now?
I think
It's a good question.
No, not as much.
Hmm.
Because
But-
she almost lost him. So now
Yeah.
she might be like, oh, okay. I mean, he had his meltdown and yelled at him, and we all know it's because it's not his own. It's not them. He's just projecting.
Yes, quite.
projected, but there's a
So maybe
there's a
she's
weird
like, oh,
there's a
okay.
weird relationship though developing with Flynn where she's starting to not it's nothing palpable or anything yet, but she's curious about what he's all about.
Yeah.
I trust
Yeah.
you. It's you.
There's a deeper story.
Yeah, I mean, I would guess that Lucy would not want to be directly responsible for the death of another person, but if there was a way to capture him alive and bring him back,
Shoot him in
possibly.
the
Get
leg.
some intel.
Yeah, but I mean, I think if Wyatt had to kill him, they had no other choice. I don't think she would, be devastated.
I think the
Yeah.
whole mission, though, is to kill him, isn't it?
At least
Yeah.
Wyatt's is.
Well, that's
no,
his
that's
mission.
That's Wyatt's mission.
But
That's why I thought.
isn't the historian and
Nope.
no? But I mean, the historian and the captain of the ship, aren't they just there to support Wyatt's mission?
No,
No.
they're there to bring Wyatt back
Yeah.
or stop him in any way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
And then if it gets to that point where they have to kill him in order to stop him, then yes, that is what
See,
Wyatt's
I
there
thought
for.
they were just there to support Wyatt and killing Flynn. Boom.
No.
They were supposed to work as a team, but I
Yeah.
said, that's why I thought Wyatt might have had a different motive when I talked about it last week, because technically they all have their own bosses to technically
Yes.
report
That's
to.
true.
So that's why when I saw him get into that meeting, I was like, oh man, we're gonna find out some crazy stuff. No, it was just that he's not doing his job.
No.
Yeah.
But interesting though, I mean, Wyatt, they find out the replacement though is somebody that Wyatt really respects, and there's none of that where he's arguing. He's like, no, give me another chance, I can do it. You're so wrong. He's just a man that's used to following the chain of command. He realizes that he's not delivering on what he's supposed to be doing. The replacement's fantastic as well. So all right, I will step aside. Sorry,
Yes.
guys. And of course, I did like how he just kind of drops that bomb on everybody as they hop into the vehicle to head back to the Alamo. It's like, hey, guess what? I'm also fired too.
Oh, I love how he
Right.
dropped that. He's like, and by the way, I'm fired.
And everyone was just like,
He's
huh,
like,
what?
I'm not coming back.
This is
You're
my
like,
last mission.
What?
But he's got to tell her, it's your fault. You haven't let me kill him. Cut it out. I'm gonna get fired.
Yeah. He's like,
That's it.
I don't really care. What are they gonna do? Fire me?
And I was like,
Wah wah.
yep.
Heard that joke before.
Yep.
It's okay though.
And we see which is kind of nice. They kind of spreading around who knows the most about a particular time period. So Wyatt, since he's from Texas, knows a lot about the history of the Alamo. So
Which, no, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was like, I love how he knew. He's like, oh yeah, this is something I actually know. He didn't really talk
You
about
only
the
knew
history
the
of the entire.
dates.
Yeah, I was like,
Yes.
you can get
I
out.
thought
You are being useless right now. Yes, that's why you're being replaced, because you're useless. No,
I
I'm
thought
just
this was
kidding.
gonna be
Just
the exciting moment where he's like, I actually know the letter.
Yeah, so I thought
had
he
to
was gonna be
memorize
like-
it in school.
Yeah,
or
I thought
something.
he was gonna be the one
Yeah.
to write the letter.
Or at least he would vaguely remember it. Like, I memorized in school. I remember parts of it at least.
Well, he did
Yeah.
his part. He got to relive his own history through the boy at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was
but
cool.
he had no new info of I'm a Texan. I know my history. All I know is the date it happened.
If they
That's
sent me
it.
back in California, I wouldn't know shit.
True.
But
also California doesn't really have that much history.
Overly
Oh, they're
proud.
overly educated about the Texas
No,
history.
not overly educated. Overly proud about
Their history.
stuff.
Yeah, California, there's not really that much
We're not
history.
that old. Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Now, one thing I'm just going to question about the entirety of Flynn's process, because we see him meeting General Santa Anna, and we kind of learn that at least the general idea is that he wants to accelerate the attack on the Alamo.
Oh my.
And eliminate that letter getting out from Travis that's going to basically inspire people and lead to the defeat of Santa Anna weeks later. So he wants to make sure that Texas doesn't become a state. So he's already been to the Hindenburg. He's already been back to World War II. Why not just go directly, his first mission, go back to the Alamo? Because if you stop Texas being a state, that's going to change everything. Doesn't matter what you do with the Hindenburg. You're going to change history so much at that point.
Because
I
that's
think.
how it's written in the show.
Yeah, I was like,
no.
that's all for plot.
That's different
That's
plot
all
lines,
for
yeah.
plot.
Yeah, but it seems
We
weird.
need more locations.
But I guess that's another reason it'd be interesting to know what Flynn's objective is, because
Yeah.
it seems, why not just go back to the earliest point in time, change everything there, and then that's gonna, and then you could just revise accordingly. If things
Like,
don't
go back to
change-
Eden. And
Oh, it's-
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
they'll have
poison the
something
apple.
like that to explain why the order they've gone in and for that particular reason. Because so far there hasn't been any inclination of why they've gone in the order they've gone.
I mean, they
Not
certainly,
necessarily.
no. I mean,
Like,
they,
why Lincoln, then why getting the bomb, and then, like...
I think that
jump
he's
around.
just going through the book. Just like, I don't know if
This-
it's
Oh,
like in
yeah.
order.
Yeah,
because
that's
if he's
true.
following the
He has
journal,
her
I feel
journal.
like he's just going back into, if he's technically
Yes.
reliving it, these are the missions that they started
Yes.
with. So start from the beginning. That's just my assumption. So.
I guess we'll accept that, Alexis.
Oh, okay, good.
You have
All
been
right,
in the
but-
business for a long time.
The one thing that I like, though, about Flynn in this episode there with General Santa Anna is that certainly Flynn's got a plan that he wants to do, but I like as much as he's trying to change time to fit a plan of his, he realizes that also time's not always going to go to
Nope.
what he wants as well.
Nope.
Because, I
Nope.
mean,
I
he
loved that.
that was a great scene where you see General Santa Anna, he wants to kill the women and children because because Flynn said, we don't want that letter to get out. So if you don't want that letter to get out, we got to kill everybody.
I mean, he's not wrong.
No.
But I like that Garcia's, he's like,
No.
But there was a big reveal.
No.
There was a big reveal right there. He said, "I'm a father too," and
Yes.
he knew.
Oh, like immediately, I was like,
Yeah.
no.
He knew
Yeah.
that Lucy was in there.
Well,
Yeah.
I have theories when
Okay.
we get
But
to it.
we've
But
also
yes.
known that Flynn has lost it. I mean, he's a
He
father.
did say he said it in the beginning that he
Yeah.
lost his wife and kids.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's what
Okay.
we're trying to figure out.
Okay. All
But
right.
if you're a time
But-
traveler, could you have lost them in the past?
Well, that's what I'm
and
saying.
It's not,
I'm not
like,
I'm-
or the future, and
Yeah.
you've gone back, and now they're still alive.
But remember, his mother didn't, or her mother didn't want to have anything to do with the guy that she was with.
Well, that's why I said that's where the theories are kind of building because I feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he's not actually supposed to be in their time and he fell in love by accident.
Yeah. Oh, can we also all talk about how amazing his Spanish was?
Dear God, the language is so good. Like
Yeah.
both, I mean,
The girls
Chris,
were going crazy.
Well, I mean, I liked it mostly just because of the fact that I've met the actor in person and he has a very
but
thick.
which one, Garcia Flynn or the other
Flynn. No, I've
Oh.
met all the men of the group.
Oh,
Of course you have.
you
Yeah.
now.
They
Right.
were the only ones at Comic-Con. Hi, Malcolm. Anyway, but like we got to interview them for San Diego Comic-Con, and he has a very thick. I don't know exactly what his background is, but he had a very thick European accent, is what I was assuming. And so the fact that I get to hear him speak in actual like Spain
Yeah,
Spanish.
it was definitely the Spain Spanish.
Yes, it was
Spain
very.
Spanish?
It was
Yes.
very nice.
It's a little bit of that lisp. My Spanish teacher in college was from Spain, and it was
He had a lisp?
definitely a very different thing.
The Spanish actor that was in there though was phenomenal. The guy that was
Yes,
playing the general.
thank
yes.
you.
Oh my God.
He's like, this isn't your war, it's mine.
I couldn't. You know.
I'm gonna say that's.
Croatian.
Yeah, thank you. I was like Adrian.
Thank you,
Adrian?
Ariadne.
All right, thank you. Sorry, I see. I already messed it up. Yes, I believe
fine.
he was Croatian. So thank you. That was really awesome. But yeah, like he has an accent. It's just not. But the Spanish was really good.
It was,
Yeah.
that was a good scene. There was such emotion in it.
España Spanish, let's clarify.
Thank you. Yes, and the fact that even you, Chris, even noticed
Even
that
I was a little turned on.
that the general had a very good like the vibrato and
Right.
the
Oh,
fact
the
that
general, yeah.
yeah, real good. Just
Yeah,
that's
no, it was-
whole,
it
their
was
scenes
powerful.
in
He had a
general.
good don't mess with me attitude.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It was
I mean,
strong.
he's,
I mean, his
he's about to
acting was
kill
great.
women and children. I don't think you want to really push that dude's buttons, to be
No.
honest. So,
Nope.
but yeah, just I liked the actor. Like I thought he
Yeah.
did really good.
And I'll be interested to see how Flynn goes forward from this. To kind of realize that he can't control every aspect that he wants to.
Yep.
He may
Now-
have a book that kind of tells him general things, but he can't predict how people are going to
Yeah,
react to
because
them as he's changing.
Because things can, yeah, exactly. Because things can change.
I think he was afraid of Lucy getting killed.
Well, yeah.
I think that was the point.
yeah.
But I mean, I
Yeah.
also think
But I
just
think-
all these women and children.
Yeah, I
getting
think
killed.
as a
He
person
didn't
who's
really care about the Hindenburg, though. He didn't really care about some of these other things about the women and children. So why would women and children bother him? So
but it
much?
doesn't matter because Lucy could have died in the Hindenburg too.
But she was on the ground.
Well, he didn't know that because he saw her in the Hindenburg. He still went through it.
But did he know that she was in the Alamo in this episode?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm assuming if he he didn't really talk about it because they
Right.
never really crossed.
Oh, but they
paths this
did
time.
say I was told to watch out for a guy with an accent, so he knew they were there someplace.
Yeah, exactly. So in the Hindenburg, he saw her on there, and he still blew it up, or at least tried, with them on it.
Yeah, and that was an interesting moment there where he does confront Travis, and you think like, oh wait, Travis got a leg up because Wyatt told him
Yep.
about him, and then like, nope, Flynn's even one step ahead of him because he removed the ammo from his gun.
I can't believe that. That's crazy. I was like,
Man.
you are not going to kill him, right? Oh my God, you did.
I was wondering what happened there. He was just like, oh, there it is. It
Yeah, you're
was
going.
a Superman moment.
This is a lot of people in the chat talking about, do we think Flynn is trying to destroy America? Because evidence kind of shows that. But do we think there's a grander reason, or is he trying to help? And it's one of those, are we being made to think he's a bad guy? Because at this point he is.
Yeah.
But is it one of those, maybe there's better reason for it later?
Well, I think we talked about it last week, how we
Right.
think that it might be too easy for Flynn to be
Oh, yeah.
the bad guy. So I feel like
Yeah.
there is a bigger picture. I feel like he's just trying to ruin Rittenhouse plans that we just don't know about yet.
Yeah.
I still feel there's certain shades of gray on both sides, both on Rittenhouse and on Flynn's side. And we'll find
Oh,
out.
can I
who-
read the Rittenhouse stuff?
Oh, go for it. As we're
Yes.
speaking of Rittenhouse,
Yeah, go for it.
I was online and I wrote this. Most of it's from Wikipedia, but so
we're
the
wearing
name.
that jacket the whole entire time, folks. There you go.
I'm so proud of you.
wasn't.
I'm so proud of you.
So the name Rittenhouse, they have a guy named David Rittenhouse was around in Pennsylvania. He was born 1732, April 8th. He was a renowned American astronomer. He was really well known for watching the path of Venus. So he was able to estimate the distance between the Earth and the Sun by watching the path of Venus. So he was an astronomer, he was an inventor, a clockmaker, a mathematician, a surveyor, and a member of the American Philosophical Society, and the first director of the United States Mint.
Cool.
Now that's interesting. So Rittenhouse, first director of the United States Mint, money, and after Benjamin Franklin's death, David Rittenhouse became president of the American Philosophical Society. Now Rittenhouse and Charles Mason, there was somebody named Charles Mason that was made famous from the Mason-Dixon line. Rittenhouse's surveillance and some of his design work got pulled into what Mason was doing back then at the time in regards to surveillance, but Rittenhouse was very much into astronomy and studying Venus. Then you have George Mason, which was right around the same time, 1725 to 1792. He was a Virginia planter, politician, and delegate to the U.S. Constitutional Convention of 1787, one of the three men who refused to sign the Constitution as it was written out. The Virginia Declaration of Rights served as a basis for the United States Bill of Rights, of which he has been deemed the father. So George Mason was deemed the father of the United States Bill of Rights because it was based on what he had in Virginia. And then here's the part that I found interesting. As tensions between Britain and the American colonies grew, Mason came to support the colonial side and used his knowledge and experience to help the revolutionary cause. So I was kind of looking for metaphorical mapping of, so he helped the colonies in the separation from the British as the tensions grew, and Rittenhouse had to do with the mint, the first mint. We've heard them say a couple of times, I'm so much into to Rittenhouse, so deep into Rittenhouse. I don't know. There might be muddy connections. There might be parallels.
Maybe.
Interesting. Look at that. Nice.
There you go.
That's your historical moment there with
Historical
Chris
moment, yes. Alexis fell asleep.
No, I'm thinking because there's a lot of theories that just sparked up after you read all that.
yes.
Interesting.
Smelling that mic.
Mostly, no. It's more along the lines of the fact that there's money involved and like there's a lot of the American history with Britain and everything that just sounds, I don't know, it
sounds like
real
there might
fishy.
be parallels, huh?
Well, I guess we can backtrack a little bit towards the beginning of the episode. We have Rufus come in and talk to Mason basically after the last episode when they stopped his car. They kind of, not so subtly threatened him.
Not even a little bit.
Not even,
that
it
was pretty major.
Pretty blatant. But Rufus comes and talks to Mason and says, like, hey, why did you stick these Rittenhouse guys on me? And Mason tries to say, like, you know what? I didn't mean that. I didn't tell them to do that. But I mean, clearly they wouldn't have known that unless Mason at least told them that Rufus wasn't going to comply anymore. He may have told them that and said,
Yeah, I feel like
go
Mason
get them.
is not giving us the whole picture, but enough,
yeah.
enough for him to be being kind of as like a puppet. So as well, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and Mason does say that Rufus is pretty much like a son to him. So,
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you'll say anything in that moment to make sure you don't seem like the bad guy.
Right.
Yeah, I think Mason has a whole different thing that's going on that we're going to find out later.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
we're
gonna
basically
crush
seeing
Rufus.
stuff just from our hero's points of view, and I think we hopefully later on in the season we'll see something from Flynn's side, something from Mason's point of view, something from Rittenhouse's point of view, get a bigger picture about what everybody's true
Ooh, but
objectives
I
are.
have some news and gossip later to talk about
Ooh,
Rufus, actually.
gossip.
Yes.
Gossip that he and Alexis are very close friends on Twitter. Yes.
Hi, Malcolm.
She's only interviewed them all, had
That's
dinner
right.
with them,
I wish. That would be a fun time.
spoken Spanish with them.
No, not even close.
Yeah.
So basically, the mission now is that with Travis dead, the infamous letter that inspired everybody, is not going to get sent at this time. With the attack accelerated, all the women and children are also going to die in there as well.
My heart exploded. That's
the
exactly
mission is
what
we got to get the women and children out, and we got to get somebody to replicate the letter and get that out as well.
Can we talk about how lame it was that they didn't immediately think, why don't we use the grenades you brought to open
Yeah,
up
that
that
was
wall?
I love how
That's a
they're
good
like,
idea.
oh man, we have this really great way of getting out, but there's this giant softball-sized hole that we can't. I'm like, you have how many grenades with you?
Yeah.
Just throw a couple to just blow
And they
up the
just
stone here.
happened to bring them this time.
I mean, you forgot maybe, but I instantly, as soon as they're like, well, it's 3 feet of concrete. Good thing you brought grenades.
Grenades. And then we didn't get into it like to the last minute. I mean, again, that's mostly for plot and drama, but still, I was just like, we could have blown that out like hours ago.
Maybe
Although-
they left them on the ship and they had to go back and get them and then come back.
No, they
I
were
would've been
there.
Okay.
He was-
No. As
Oh,
a thing to delay the time,
Okay.
I would have been okay with that.
Yeah, but no.
But this
Although-
was like,
It was
really,
right there.
guys?
It was right there
Wyatt
on the
may
ground.
have been
Yeah.
thinking, if I'm here in the Alamo, I'm going to take some MFs out with me with a few grenades.
Maybe. Although I feel like even though they, of course,
I
you
thought
know,
he
as we
wanted
get
to
the
blow up
episode-
Flynn, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't seem like they had much lead time
Yep.
from those troops. Like, they could have easily just kept on following them down that aqueduct and caught him. I don't think they had
Yeah.
much of a lead. But
No, not really.
They were
No.
trying.
But Davy Crockett took on 1,000 of them with one arm.
that's
yes.
right.
Don't forget that.
David Crockett.
That's right. So as always, when we get there, we get a chance for them to kind of come back and kind of bask in that historical moment when they kind of see it
Oh,
for the
except
first time.
Until Wyatt's like, we're not tourists.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow,
Oh my God.
someone's being an a-hole party
No, like,
He was getting
the
fired.
entire time I was like, stop raining on people's parades, buddy. Like, we get it.
Seriously.
Like, move on.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that you were going through something, but you have a mission, but you also need to, whatever.
But what
It's
about
David
his
Crockett.
flashbacks? He didn't look that, like, if really the flashbacks were that bad, he doesn't look like he's that effective at his job in the first place.
But yeah, but I think he was just trying his best to stay strong as much as he could, but it looked like he was really shooken up.
He
just
has some
couldn't
serious
show it.
PTSD, though, and he's
Yes.
like,
Well, it
yeah.
made sense
Yeah.
because it didn't come up at any other mission because this mission was so close to home
Yes.
for him.
Right,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
They said Wyatt did blow up Flynn. Weren't all the grenades only used in the aqueduct?
Yeah.
I thought they were.
Yeah, so Flynn was
Yeah.
nowhere near that.
No,
No.
Flynn wasn't even close. I think
Yeah.
he was still back.
Yeah, the
wherever
only
he
time
left.
that
No Ivan in the chat room.
yeah, Wyatt was trying to chase down Flynn
was
after
trying
he
to
killed
find
Travis,
Flynn,
but
yeah.
he had already gotten away before Travis
Yeah.
could even or
Yeah.
Wyatt could even locate him.
I don't even know where he went.
Yeah. So, but now we get a chance to meet some historical people. We get to meet Bowie. We get to meet After the Knife.
Oh,
Awesome. We get to meet David Crockett. Get to see him. So that's really cool to
Yes.
get to meet these really historical people up there.
Oh, and then John Smith.
And John Smith, young
Yeah.
John Smith.
The
Although-
classic quintessential male white name.
Yeah.
John Smith.
John
No,
Smith.
straight up. I was like, wow, okay, cool.
And not Pocahontas.
No,
John
no,
Smith.
no, different.
The other
No.
one.
You
Totally
say John
different.
Smith, black guy, right? No. No.
But it was interesting, Rufus's first encounter, because David Crockett's telling his troops about the story about him wrestling a bear, and I like Rufus just goes, David Crockett.
Yeah. I get so excited.
He couldn't
He's
handle
like,
it. He
yeah.
couldn't control himself. He's just like, oh my god, David Crockett, and you have the hat. And he's just like, and I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, the hat,
Get it
too.
together, fanboy. Jeez. I mean, at least Lucy was just like, she was still listening, but then she turned around and was like, oh my god, like, and I was like, good for you.
Do you know
kept it together?
if you go to the Fest Parker Winery up in Solvang, you can get a wine glass that has little Davy Crockett
Really?
Wow.
etched onto the wine glass if you go wine tasting, if you all go up to Solvang.
That's awesome.
Do you
It's a
have
good
one?
place to go.
I do,
Ah.
because I went wine tasting there.
Yeah.
And
I
how
like
often do you
wine
use
tasting.
Not often enough, apparently.
I know it. It's happening.
it? You
Going and
bring it
getting
tonight to drink out of?
Oh,
There you
I
go,
didn't
it's
even think
Halloween.
about that
Well,
as
I
David
mean-
Crockett. I think we probably even had those hats too.
Oh,
But not
Oh.
from
fun.
there, but going up to like Yosemite and stuff like that.
I think I
You're
have
a
a
regular
magnet with
adventurer.
that hat on there.
Yeah, my dad's into that too. So
Oh,
yeah, Lucy fanboying over Crockett. Yeah,
it was
that was super cute.
adorable. I loved it.
Yeah.
So Wyatt feel like Flynn has got the perfect trap. He's accelerated the timeline for the attack on the Alamo. Plus, he's trapped all of them in the Alamo as well, pretty much ruling out the chances they can get back to the ship and get
Seriously,
back
my
to the
heart
president.
exploded.
Yeah.
What a-
Seeing the
yeah.
army there, I was like, oh my god, they're 3
It
days
was
early,
cute.
and there's no way out, and they won't let the
Early.
women and children. As soon as they showed the red flag, I was like, wait, are they gonna kill everybody? And then just, I just like you can ask Kari. She saw me, and I was freaking out the
Oh,
entire
she
time.
makes such fun little
Yes.
gestures and like
Watching her is about as much fun as watching the show. It's like a whole nother show happening on the side.
Because it's just, I don't even know how you would be able to sit there and be like, okay, yeah, we got a few more days. They're not anywhere close, and they're literally in your front yard ready to kill it.
Just for one
and you're
moment,
all gonna die.
Carrie, Chris,
Yes.
can anybody just replicate your favorite Alexis moves as she watches
Oh
that
no
episode of
no no
Timeless?
no!
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
she
good.
does
Yes,
that.
that was a great one. This one is very nice to the fan when it just gets too hot. The plot gets too hot for her. She's got like, whoo, man.
You guys don't understand.
I want to do an
love it.
Alexis after show.
No, don't do it.
That's great.
It's terrible. It's just a lot of cursing the entire time. Oh Lord.
Ariadne said, I make gestures too watching some of my other favorite shows.
Yeah,
So
I do it
understand.
with every show. That
Oh no,
I'm
we
into.
do on certain stuff. You guys we should have videotaped our reactions with Ian Fleming on the last episode when the lean in and the kiss and the not.
Yeah.
Oh, we all were like,
What?
The lady swooned.
Yeah.
There's a lot of swooning
Sorry, I
involved.
got really
Yeah.
excited.
Now it was mostly just me wanting to rip the TV screen out of the wall. I was so afraid.
Folks,
Yeah.
those of you that make those kind of physical gestures and stuff while you're watching Timeless, just tweet us. Just
Let
shoot a
us
little
know.
video of yourself. Tweet us doing those great gestures.
Yes.
I usually like seeing
Tweet
people's
at it.
gifs of
Yeah, I
like
was
stuff
gonna
of
do a
like
gif of that.
this is how I felt about the episode, and then it's like something really silly. I usually like those. Oh,
So
man.
Lucy's big challenge this episode is that she's got to replicate a letter that Travis wrote that inspired everybody to come back and fight General Santa Anna.
I love how you said, "Oh my God, this is the worst time to get writer's block." And she
And
said
then she
it.
goes, "This is the worst time. I got the worst case of writer block. Apparently, I should write for this show.
You
No.
should.
I have a couple lines. I've already been like, I love those moments. Do you guys get this much? I guess it depends how much TV you watch. I've definitely had many a moments watching something and say something, and then the characters say exactly or a very similar version.
That was
of it.
Castle for me.
Oh,
I was
okay.
always on point with that
I think
one.
it's one of those once you get in the groove of it, you're like, I know what they.
I mean, I've been watching it for 8 seasons. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there you
why.
Yeah, well, that one too. I like that they address the. She's like, well, I don't know every letter.
I
of
know
all
Rufus
time.
is just like, you're a historian. Don't like. How
I
do
had
you
that
not know
moment
that?
too. I'm like, don't you know this letter?
See, I wouldn't even be trying to remember what the letter said. I just like, okay, what do I need to do to inspire these people?
Well, because
Don't
she's like,
forget
it has
us.
to
We're
be
taking on a.
specific. It has to be these
yeah.
things.
And it has,
this
to, it has
way.
to have like
Yes.
specific words because she can't just be like, "Yo, we have to do this. Get it together, guys.
Well,
Help us
but
out."
it's
Like
so
you know,
much-
there has to be like clear deuces. Like no, like it needs to be obviously from inspirational and also from the same time era. Like that's
Oh,
crazy
that's
to me.
tough.
Same
Yeah,
tone and like.
I mean, just like I
speech
can't remember
pattern.
which episode it was, but like, it was the
So you
World
can't-
War II one where he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, "What?"
What? Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
can't. Like I forgot what it
And
was.
you're wearing pajamas.
So
Yeah.
So you can't say tweet us over here at the
Yeah.
Alamo.
Yeah, you can't just be like, come around,
Hashtag Alamo.
hashtag Alamo, help us out, you know.
Hashtag remember.
Oh, no.
But it's what's interesting is it's so much similar to like when you look at remember that movie 300.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and how they had to fight off these people, and there were
Yes.
300 of them that fought this whole army, and then that becomes a source of inspiration for future
For
battles.
everybody else,
Same
yeah.
thing with the Alamo, source of inspiration. I was watching the other day a show on the Vikings where they had the berserkers that would go out, and the berserkers were the crazy warriors that would go out first, and they were berserk. And there was a famous battle on a bridge where one berserker held off people. I think they were in the UK or Britain or something. They were in London, and he held off 40 men on a bridge so that the rest of the
wow.
so that the rest of the Vikings could escape. But 40 men, one berserker, and
He's Bamf.
yeah. And then after that,
Write that in the
that
letter.
propelled the legends and stuff that would move other people's hearts
Yeah.
and minds and get them to step up and really
Yeah.
go out and fight
That's
and win.
also-
It's a lot of pressure, you know.
Yeah. Well, that reminds me of the line when Davy Crockett, he's like, I didn't really wrestle the bear. And he's
I
like,
love
well,
how
why?
people forget that he made up most of his stuff, but it
Tall
didn't matter.
tales.
But it didn't matter.
They want to follow a leader who's done that. It
Exactly.
Totally made sense. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm
Kind
behind that
of.
100%.
It's not like how it is here where it's like, yeah, I know the Kardashians and everything's amazing. You're like, no, I don't know what that doesn't really do anything for
Kind
me.
of, but that's kind of like when Brian Williams says, there we were in the helicopter and we were under fire, and there's an aspect to it that's kind of
but I
bullshit.
feel like it's
We
different.
doubt people now.
Yeah, but exactly.
We can fact check way
way faster
Right.
than we did back in the day. And I
Then
feel like
they just, well,
I
you
also-
would, people would be honest. You would
No,
take them for
yeah.
their face value.
And I also feel like it's a little bit different when you hear someone who says I wrestled a bear or I was able to fight with like certain amount of people or something like that, because that's supposed to be inspirational for that point in time. It's not like you're not exactly gloating for I don't know, like it's hard to explain in my head, but it's supposed to be just like stories you tell around a campfire.
But does it make sense in your head?
Yeah.
Okay, as long as it's
Yeah, like
yeah.
it's
No, I would agree. 'Cause
it's like trying to it's like how when parents, even though it might be lying still, they say a story for like, I guess I'm thinking of my
For a good
grandmother where
outcome.
they're
Right,
trying to do like a
okay.
morale kind of thing more
Yes.
than just like, oh yeah, I fought a bunch of bears and like just end it
It's
there.
not bragging,
Yeah.
it's
It's-
inspirational
Yeah.
and it's
Yes.
with
It's
purpose.
yeah, I
Do you
always
guys remember that movie, Tall Tale, from the
yeah,
90s?
yeah.
Love that. Frank's like, no.
I don't
That's
remember
also
that
a
either.
Western-y episode.
I know what you're talking about.
Is that a face that you don't remember or you didn't like it?
I think right now both.
Oh.
I don't remember. Didn't like it. Was it a cartoon?
The
It sounds
reason
like
he
a
doesn't
cartoon.
remember
I
is
don't
because
remember
he
it.
didn't
No,
like
it's
it.
live
Like-
action. It's live action.
I don't know. Who's in it?
I don't remember. I just remember it was a cool movie
We'll
about
just
tall
Google
tales.
it later.
All right.
And it was someone like either encountering those people and just similar idea of like it's a tall tale for a good reason. Of,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
I just see it as like when grandparents make up stuff so that you don't do something.
Yeah.
And then you just leave it at that.
Yeah.
You don't hold on to it and be like, you lied to me. I mean, I did that, but like that's something different.
Now, Wyatt's a little
see you,
different
Grandma.
from David Crockett, that he tells Bowie the truth, saying exactly what's going to happen. And
I
in
like
a sense
that.
of trying to get everybody out there. But Bowie's like, don't say this around my men. This is not helpful. But then comes back to him a little bit later and says, okay, what's the real story? And
Yeah.
Wyatt kind of breaks it down to him, but then also kind of reveals why he's also having these flashbacks too, and talks a little bit about his military history, about a mission that he was the lone survivor.
But I'm
of.
glad that we got to
Yeah.
find that out because I feel like his behavior, which sucks because PTSD is no joke, but at the same time, like you taking it out on everybody is also not helpful. But I'm glad that he like realized it to the point where he's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm not being helpful. I'm being not selfish. That's not a good word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, finally by the end, he's like, I can't leave my people.
Yeah.
He's switched, and these are his new
He
people.
needs to
take
stop
care of them now.
battling as a lone wolf. He needs to work as a
Yes.
team.
It was just convenient that his people were the ones that were fleeing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That weren't gonna die.
Interesting.
Frank is, even though he was telling the truth, it's a truth to him, but the other people don't know it as fact. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting way to tell people of the past the truth, because it's like you're not convincing them of it. He just was like, "You're all gonna die," which is a thing someone who's totally
See-
scared would say too.
And I was kind of freaking out because I thought they would think that he's a spy because they're like, how do you know all this information? And I was like, oh my God, they're going to imprison you and then you're going to be
Yes.
grumpy the entire time, then you're going to die. Like, it would have sucked. But I'm
Yes.
glad that, like, not Travis. I forgot. No, not Wyatt.
David Crockett.
No.
Rufus.
Yeah, Bowie.
David Bowie.
Sorry, I'm terrible with
David
names,
Bowie.
clearly.
It's okay.
But Bowie pretty much was just, he didn't really question. He was just like, don't ever talk about, because, I mean, again, it's about morale. If you keep talking about
Yes.
death, these guys are not going to act the way that we need them
Yes.
to be. As
See, I thought it
soldiers.
was really refreshing that he just told it the way it was. Now,
Yeah.
if Garcia Flynn would do that,
I mean, that's kind of what he's doing to a point. He's just kind of manipulating it in a certain
I mean,
way.
to Lucy, just tell her this is what the story is.
I mean, yeah, we would like that, but I feel like it's hard to tell people who know that that are gonna die because of this situation and just tell them straight out. Like, I feel like it doesn't really help you, technically.
Technically.
Depends how you tell them.
Yeah, I mean, again, Wyatt was just yelling at Bowie the entire time.
No enforcement's coming was a good one.
Yes.
You don't need to say y'all gonna die, but you could have the enforcements
They're
are
not
coming.
yeah.
We need to change our plan.
Yeah,
you
he could have
can't
cut out
rely on that.
the beginning part of that and just
Yeah.
started from there.
True, but I guess given Wyatt's PTSD, the
No,
similarity to that, he's not coming in
thinking
at the most
straight. It's
calm
okay.
place.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it was understandable.
Yeah, he was very reactionary,
Yeah.
but I liked it. I thought it was refreshing and it was straightforward. And,
Yeah.
Well, it's nice he finally did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was
It
cool
happened
that-
at least once, you know.
And
Gotta
it comes
do
up with it, like, it's always cool when you think of historical battles and think of like, maybe if you use modern day strategy, looking back on
Yeah.
a past
Oh,
battle,
that
how
was
you would approach
smart,
it. And that was
yeah.
cool, where he kind of said, don't worry about everything. Just to release everybody from your weakest wall. Let that be the point of egress into the base, and then just so we
Point
can,
of egress.
I also like the
Yeah.
fact. Look at that fancy
Where'd you
word.
get that word?
He says fancy words. You should watch him on Box Office Breakdown.
Really?
Oh, do it.
kidding.
Popcorn talk. Whenever
Yeah.
you get a
Yeah,
chance.
so I thought that was cool to kind of
Yeah.
take modern day tactics and apply it back to a
I
past
like
battle.
that he
It's very
also
smart.
was able. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't see at that point, but I like how he was sharpening the pieces of wood to make a barrier because I couldn't tell if
Which-
they already did that.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Watching this, I was like, how convenient. So when the first bunch of people storm the
The Alamo.
Alamo, I was gonna say the fort.
Yeah.
They all die and fall in the walkway, which I'm like, that's actually really convenient. It makes it difficult for everybody else to come in.
Sure.
Next couple shots, nobody's on the walkway.
Again, they just felt
and I'm like,
conveniently
they go,
out of the way.
"Ah, I fell to the side.
Side.
But the first shot, they all fell straight down.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Maybe they rolled. They're like, oh, I'm in so much pain.
Get out of the way. Let them come
Out of
in.
the way to let the horses
I thought
through.
that was a little bit of a continuity. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I
That
like
was
it.
kind of
It's
strange.
okay.
I would have
It's okay.
liked that better.
In terms of the war strategy, though, like they lured him into another 300 type scenario where you can
Yeah.
only come through this passageway, which seems
Makes
to
it
be
easier to kill him.
Yeah.
yeah. If you're outnumbered, get your back to
Funnel
a
it down.
wall so they can only come at you from one direction. right?
Yeah, it was really smart. I liked that. I liked that of that.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. And the idea was like, we basically got to give them enough time for Rufus to blow a hole and get the women and children out the aqueduct. And Lucy goes back to get Wyatt. And this, I don't know what you guys thought. I I would have given major props to the show if they would have killed off Wyatt in this episode.
Really?
Just a
Yeah.
really interesting twist to the series. If they would have killed off one of the main people, you'd already kind of set up that there's a replacement.
Right.
Wyatt thinks he's well respected. He would fit in. He'd be able to handle his.
That
business.
I thought
sick,
he was
though.
going to stay behind.
I definitely thought he was
agree.
going to
if he
stay
stayed
behind.
and died in the Alamo.
Because I would have liked
been,
to see what history would have looked like after Wyatt left. You know
Yeah.
what I
Right.
mean? Yeah. I mean, like again, I like this actor. I feel
Yes.
like he
Yeah.
should have more screen
Yes.
time. But I also feel
He's
like
at home watching us going, you son of a...
You're fantastic.
No, like you're fantastic. But at the same time, I think moving the story along would have been cool, and it would have been kind of nice to have like like as Chris was saying, that's very refreshing to get like a new face,
Yeah.
and then maybe
Though I will say we already like him, and
Yeah.
the new guy, I'm like, you're
we already have a
but-
ship too, technically
Yeah.
with Wyatt and Lucy. It would be kind of weird to start that over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's always a thing like this where you have people that they're putting themselves in jeopardy all the time, and you know that as the leads, odds are they're not going to get hurt.
True,
killed,
it's
or
one of
anything like that.
those. It's too safe.
Yes.
Yep.
Almost.
Where it's
It
like,
needs to be a Joss Whedon show where anyone can die.
Yeah.
That's why the Joss Whedon shows are my
Like they
favorite.
should they should blow off
Anyone's
Lucy's
game.
arm one
Anyone's
week or
game.
something like that. No, I mean, but just to add some realism
like-
to it,
Yeah.
that's right. There you go.
There you go.
Lucy dies and is possessed by the soul of her dead sister, her time lost sister.
Oh my
So
god,
there
that
you
would be
go.
crazy.
Yeah.
My head would,
Somebody
I
weird
would be
things.
like, I'm just table flip, I'm done.
But they were able to. Wyatt and everybody, they evacuate, and he gets a little souvenir, and he gets one of Bowie's knives right there.
Dude, I lost my mind.
That
I
was
like,
awesome
I would give my left arm to have. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be able to use it, but like, you know what I mean? Like the fact that like
with
if
your
he
right
came.
arm?
Yeah, there you go. Like that would be so cool to have. It's not like it's a Bowie original. Like no, it's an
the
actual
Bowie.
It's
Bowie
the
knife.
knife that Bowie. Like the history buff in me was just I want it. Like, I was so excited.
Would you have wanted it if you hadn't seen the episode though?
Well, no, yeah, I would, but it was just really cool. It was just really cool seeing it actually happening, like him actually
Right.
like flipping the knife and then giving it to him. Like
Yeah.
that's cool. Like I've seen.
Because you knew the relevance.
I hope they
Yeah.
have it again in another episode, and it's not.
Oh,
just
he's
this
totally gonna
one-off
use it now.
Little thing.
I hope so.
It would be cool if he always carried that.
Yeah,
around.
He
that
kills
would be
Flynn
cool.
with it.
Ooh.
Throws it.
Oh no, that thing's too heavy. He can't throw that.
Stab him in the gut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Stab him.
Yeah, whatever. Sorry,
Just a
I didn't mean
crazy
to. I didn't mean to
I
get
don't
into
think
weird
so for
knife
real,
throwing
but I
stuff.
just had a
It is
moment where I
Halloween.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Slash
I don't
him
know.
up.
went, Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, because man, if you guys went back in time and you got some historical artifact from somebody that you really admired in history, would you
Ooh.
kind of keep that to yourself? Would you put it up on if you had a mantle in your
But
home?
what would we get?
you put it
Depends
up?
what it is.
Yeah. What would you get?
Gene Kelly's tapping shoes. If he gave me a
you
pair
get
of
Gene
tapping
Ke-
shoes.
But would you wear them or put them on
Nope.
display?
I put him.
Yeah.
No, I put him on a pedestal. Like or not
No,
pedestal,
I'd
but you
be
know what I
proud
mean.
and display. I mean, you might have make up some crazy story of how you got it.
Yep.
But that would be the thing
Be
that
like
you'd be
great
proud to have
grandmother
up.
somewhere. Yeah.
Wow.
Or like something like a film strip from like one of Gene
Yeah.
Kelly's or Charlie Chaplin's like lives, that like a real one,
Right.
you know, or something like that.
Like Harry Potter's wand.
Like his actual one.
His act, like the real one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was,
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Exactly.
I want to hijack you here real
Jeez.
quick in terms of speaking of what you would want. I think we should draw for the
Ooh.
winner now.
That's actually
I'm
a
gonna
good
shake it
call.
up.
Let's
I'm
do
gonna
it.
shake it up.
While
So wait,
I don't
here,
remember.
So this is for the bag. Do we
move
need to
it.
do
Drum
it?
roll.
So
Which
everybody,
one is
for this is for one of two of the bags. We'll do both of them here. These are people that commented in the YouTube channel as well as on the iTunes page.
Do we have the bag
But all
here?
Well,
Other-
we're gonna do. We'll
We're
do
just gonna
one
do
now.
YouTube and we'll do
YouTube
one-
today.
yeah.
So thank you so much. So for anybody who's like, what the heck are they talking about? I do have the bag. I just didn't bring it in here with me right now. But it is a bag that was from Comic-Con for the Timeless promotional area set up, and we had people do a YouTube comment of what time period they'd want to go to, and why. Ooh, I was gonna say, you want to pull that
Yeah, I
up
was gonna.
that we
yeah,
can,
that's exactly
While
what I was
we're
gonna
in
do while you're
that,
doing
so then
that.
we can read who the winners, their answer was. A lot of you wrote answers, which is fantastic. We'll check iTunes, see if anybody did it on that. If not, we'll come back again for next week and pick another winner.
Yeah, because then it gives you
Yes.
time if you don't get
Just
this one,
in
go on
case.
iTunes and do that.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
I wrote down everybody's names. We're shuffling it around.
Drum roll, please.
Were there a lot of names? Oh my gosh.
there's a
look at
few.
all this.
There's a few. Who we
don't-
have? Oh no!
Oh, I only say that because I know who this person is from watching other shows. Ariadne, you won!
Yes!
That's awesome.
Yay.
I actually have the comment in front of me.
Yay.
Right?
Beautiful.
Yes.
Okay.
What's the comment?
Go ahead and read
Okay. Her comment is, I would love to travel to the time between 1910 to 1928 because I would love to try on the clothes and go to a speakeasy. I would love to go to, nope, that's not what I wanted. Don't stop. Nope.
Wrong thing.
I would like to go, well, because it wanted me to comment on it. I would love to go to pre-1492 North America so I can come to the Americas and just learn everything from indigenous people. Wait, did I say that right?
Yes.
Because I would love to learn how they lived off the land and stuff. The last time period I would love to travel to is the classical era, so I can learn about Greek and Roman mythology firsthand from people living in the Mediterranean, which I'm on the same boat on that one.
Wow, that
That's
is
one
a
of my-
very
Yeah.
Very
long
ambitious.
Classical
and
era is one
thorough
of my favorites.
answer.
Thank you.
And she read your name
Yes.
faster than Lucy read the piece of paper in this episode.
True.
Yes. So
No suspense.
congratulations, and she's also a avid watcher on our Vikings panel. So
Sweet.
that's the only reason I was like, no, I know how to say her name. So
all right.
see, guys, you need to watch our shows and comment, and then like it's a community, and we know who you are. So yeah, Ariane will
community?
chat.
Can you say that again?
Definitely.
I don't know.
Definitely
Now I feel
send
like you're edging
definitely
me
get
to
on
say
Twitter or
Yes.
Twitter and definitely send us a direct message so that we can
Yeah.
figure out your information so we can send you the bag.
Yeah.
And as Karen and Alexis were saying, we still have one more bag we'll do next week, and that's based on the iTunes
reviews.
So
Yes.
hop on iTunes now if you want to be able to get a chance at winning one of those swanky.
Now, does it have to be a
Cool, timeless
5-star
bags.
review, or does
Yes.
We
of
accept
course.
that.
We only
Love
accept
us.
5 stars?
Five stars or 4 stars. The other stars do not work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, just letting you know.
There you go. And also, if you're going to do it on iTunes, there also add something in there about where you think Chris got this coat from.
I'm assuming the
Yes.
70s is
Yeah, I
what
wanna
I'm
understand,
assuming.
Like, what great story led to Chris having this coat in his life?
If
Yes.
someone can make a fan fiction of that, that would be great.
Actually, and there is a true story. So if you win that, we'll give you my love and affection.
Oh my goodness,
Oh.
guys! That right there, invaluable. There you can't. It's priceless. You cannot put a
Dear
cost on
God.
it.
What have we done?
As we're coming to the end of the episode, everybody gets back in time. We reflect on what happened in the Alamo. We find out John Smith got out safe. The letter was delivered. So time is kind of progressed with not too many subtle changes.
We gotta talk about our tiny moment of Wyatt and Lucy talking, like how they were romantic. Moment.
yes,
because
'cause-
Ivan in the chat, that's his ship, so we got to talk about it just
Yeah.
a tiny
Alright.
bit, just tiny
he
bit.
is.
All right. So Lucy's
All
saying,
for it.
Lucy
Yeah.
was, I trust you. I trust you. You did a thing.
It was
What do you think?
everything almost except saying something really endearing.
So do we really think it's gonna go past that, or do we think it's just gonna be one of those like tease poke kind of thing?
Tease poke.
The entire series, or not series, but the season, I should say. Are we gonna get a kiss at the end of the season? Are we not? Gonna be like a
I think
Ross
if they
and
did
Rachel
that, it
thing.
would kill the tension.
Yeah.
Tease poke.
I don't know. There's two ways about it. One, they could kind of come together, then all of a sudden his wife gets back in the picture.
That's
Yeah,
what I was thinking.
true.
That's my
Establish
prediction.
them,
Is
that
that they'll finally get close. Maybe there will be a kiss involved, and then all of a sudden, oh look, my wife's back! Yay! So that will suck. But yeah.
So that could happen, or even before they get that close, the wife does come back, and then something else happens, and then Wyatt's in a funk for whatever reason. That
And
kind
then
of
Lucy's in a funk
chills thing
also.
for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you
That's
guys-
rough.
Yeah. Well, I guess as we're talking about predictions for the future, why don't we do a couple of our own right now?
Yay!
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
Predictions. So we got at the very end of the episode that she finds out
Dad reveal.
her dad,
Or not.
But
Almost.
Carrie's like, tell me what, say his name, say his name,
We're
say his
waiting
name,
for
and it didn't happen.
How many?
so grumpy.
How many of us were thinking it was going to be
Tease.
Garcia Flynn?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Straight up. I think my theory was that he is someone from the future. Don't know what he does in the future, but he definitely came back. I don't know. He met the mom in some way, shape, and form because I thought she was also a historian in some way, shape, and form. So I thought, because I thought this was a family business, right? Isn't that what Lucy said at
Oh,
one
yeah.
point?
Her
So
mom
I
was a
was thinking
historian.
that he was in the future. He came back to talk to somebody, and it was Lucy's mom, who was a historian, fell in love by accident, got pregnant, and he's like, okay, maybe I should just stay here and
But
make
she
it work.
didn't want to marry him.
So then he was like, fine, be like that. And he went back to his own time. Maybe he
Yeah.
he went through that
Lost
life.
his wife and
lost his
something.
wife and kids because of something. And he's like, I need to go back and do something. So I think that
he might not
Lucy
even know Lucy
is his daughter.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Not exactly.
Not exactly,
Yeah.
but he thinks that that he knows that
Yes.
she is the daughter of the historian he fell in love with back when he went back in time. This is just me just ripping prediction things out of my head.
ripping them
ripping
out.
it, just
Taking
ripping
them
it.
out.
Bring
That's
it
how
back.
I feel watching this show sometimes. I feel like I'm just ripping brain cells out.
Part of the prediction, which some people have brought up in the chat room too, is it's weird that Lucy seems to be the only one who has the timeline change.
Well, yeah, because I think it's
Right.
because Flynn is a direct line that I feel like it is mostly affecting her right now.
Oh.
Because that if that's
I don't
her
get
father.
the logic, but
But
No,
you know,
yeah.
I guess because it's like there's like a bloodline thing.
Well, but there's also the Hindenburg directly impacted
that was
how her parents'
sister,
original
right,
timeline.
yeah.
But I
not-
mean, like, she's had so much change in her life, but the others haven't. So I hope they explain
Well,
why.
Well, but so far there could be another event
I think it's
that
going to start
happens in history
happening.
that also has
Yeah.
ramifications.
because we're
Yeah.
seeing more aspects of those characters now. We're
Yeah.
getting to see Rufus and we're getting to see Wyatt and see their.
Speaking of Rufus, if you follow him on Twitter, the actor, he tweeted out that
What's
there
his
is
name?
going Malcolm Barrett.
Malcolm Barrett.
I think on Twitter it's the verbal the rapper or the verbal rapper. I'm sorry if I'm messing that up. But he tweeted out that there's an actor who plays his little brother. So we actually might get some backstory
saw
of
that.
Rufus.
Who, in that picture, he looks like he's the kid from Van Helsing.
Yeah, right. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that.
I
'cause
saw
know
that.
you
I'm
do
like,
the
that's
after
the
show.
kid from Van Helsing.
Yeah, so
You guys are
he's
all
going to
over
be
that.
playing his
Yay.
little brother at some point in time. So I don't know.
Well, they mentioned his family.
Yes. So I think that I don't know if this is next episode or episodes coming up, but
Yeah.
definitely we know that we're gonna get a Rufus backstory or a Rufus heavy episode, which is gonna be
Sweet.
awesome. So
I don't know if I necessarily agree with the chat, but a couple
What were they
people have
saying?
brought up that Flynn is a former member of Rittenhouse.
yeah, yeah.
I think that's a possibility. I'm not totally like 100% for or against it. I just go, oh.
I think that Mason actually wants. That's why he's getting all the recordings. Because I think he
Yes.
is part of Rittenhouse, but he's trying to one them up by trying to change history so that he can actually be the leader of Rittenhouse instead of Rittenhouse taking over him.
Oh.
Is what I'm.
Wow,
getting.
you went deep.
That is deep.
Like this is what my brain does when I'm watching TV shows. I'm just like, like that's why when you said
Right.
that Rittenhouse
Yeah.
was doing all these things, I'm like, well, Mason seems like he's already pretty irritated with them. That I feel like he knows that they're in charge of all that stuff. So
Yes.
maybe Mason's family line could be in charge of Mint and
Well,
all this kind of stuff.
Now
and
the
then
mint
eventually,
was the mint was Rittenhouse and Mason was the Bill of Rights.
yeah. So I was thinking
Yeah.
that maybe that he, besides Bill of Rights, maybe he
and
can also get.
supporting the move away.
So maybe
the
he's trying to change it.
rebellion.
Well, because it's interesting because even though his I mean I don't know if Mason's his first name or his last name, but
Right.
the fact that
Probably last.
he is British from
Yeah.
what we're getting from that, I feel like maybe he might change history to be like America actually doesn't fight Britain, they take it back, and then again he gets to take over for Britain with money, so then he has power of Britain and then money on top of
Son
that.
of a gun.
You know what I mean?
Damn.
So then he plays he's playing the victim card because he's
Yeah.
trying to get all of his ducks in a row.
That's crazy, but I dig it.
Who
Ooh,
knows?
look at this. Look at Alexis Torres, everybody. Yes.
This is what happens when you have no life and you watch TV and play lots of video games.
All
Too
right.
many theories.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Timeless After Show. But, folks, as always, you can like us on Facebook. Give us those 5 stars on iTunes. In fact, leave a review for your chance next week to win the other bag that Kari Lane has from Comic-Con. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks, everybody, for hopping in the chat, sharing your thoughts and opinions about the show. If you want to continue the conversation with us even after the show's off the air, Chris, where can they find you?
You can find me at Chris Howard Live on Twitter and Instagram.
And good evening and happy Halloween again. I just had to. I'm like, but I got my prop. Anyway, my name's Kari Lane. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Kari D Lane. That's KaridLane. And on Facebook at Kari Lane Actor.
I'm Alexis Torres. You can find me all over social media at atorres890. Definitely hit up those iTunes reviews and obviously check all of us out here at AfterBuzz because we all do multiple shows
Check
here.
us out.
Yeah.
Chris is going to be doing The Voice. Kari does
stuff.
a lot of stuff. I actually can't list all of them, but Broadway Breakdown with these two is fantastic on our sister network, Popcorn Talk. So definitely check
The
that
Voice
out.
is
Don't forget about Bob's
So-
Burgers that Alexis does as well.
Yes,
And
thank
that's just
you.
one of many things that she does.
Oh,
Look at
thanks,
that. And folks, don't forget also on that iTunes review, leave what you think the story is behind Chris Howard getting this jacket.
Yes, I
in
wanna
his life.
know.
Yes,
I wanna see it.
And you can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie. Folks, we'll see you next week for another episode of the Timeless After Show here on AfterBuzz TV.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
Remember
your
the Alamo.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.